Hello everyone, welcome to another lesson. In today's lesson, we will be discussing sequences and series. In particular, we will be talking about arithmetic progressions and geometric progressions. Arithmetic progression or sequence. An arithmetic progression is one in which each term after the first term is obtained by adding a constant called the common difference to the preceding term. If the nth term of a progression is a sub n, the first term is a, and the common difference is d, then the AP is of the form a sub n is equal to a plus bracket n minus 1 close bracket times d. If d is positive, the arithmetic sequence is increasing. If d is negative, the arithmetic sequence is decreasing. Arithmetic progression example 1. An example of an AP is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, and so on. Notice it starts with a first term, 3, and it is the same difference between each term. The difference between 3 and 6 is 3, between 6 and 9 is 3, and so on. Can you think of others? One quick one that usually comes to mind is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pretty easy. Let's look at another example. Find the nth term of an AP 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on to a sub n if the number of terms are 15. To find the nth term, we use the formula a sub n is equal to a plus bracket n minus 1 times d. Here, n, the number of terms, is equal to 15. A is equal to 1 because a is the first term. And d is the common difference, the same difference between each term. You could just use the first two terms, the difference, 2 minus 1, that is equal to 1. And that would be the same difference between all the terms. Plug these into the formula. We have a sub 15 is equal to 1 plus bracket 15 minus 1 times 1. This is equal to 1 plus 14 is equal to 15. So, the nth term, a sub 15 is equal to 15. Let's look at another example. I ask you to find the 20th term of the given AP, 3, 5, 7, 9, and so on. Here, A is equal to 3, D is equal to 5 minus 3 is equal to 2, N is equal to 20. Plug these into the formula. We have a sub 20 is equal to 3 plus bracket 20 minus 1 times 2. That will be equal to 3 plus 19 times 2 is equal to 3 plus 38, which is equal to 41. So the 20th term is equal to 41. The sum of an arithmetic progression is given by the formula S sub n is equal to n over 2 times brackets 2a plus brackets n minus 1 times d close brackets, where n is the nth term, a is the first term, and d is the common difference. Example, find the sum of the first 30 multiples of 4. That AP will look like 4, 8, 12, and so on. Here a is equal to 4, d is equal to 8 minus 4, which is equal to 4, and n is equal to 30. Plug these into the formula. We have s sub 30 is equal to 30 over 2, bracket 2 times 4, plus bracket 30 minus 1 times 4, close bracket. That would be equal to 15, bracket 8, plus 29 times 4, close bracket, be equal to 8 plus 116 in bracket times 15, be equal to 15 times 124, which is equal to 1,860. So s sub 30 is equal to 1,860. Geometric progression definition. A geometric progression or sequence is one in which every term after the first term is multiplied by a constant called a common ratio. If the nth term is a sub n, the first term is a, and the common ratio is r, then the sequence, that's the GP, is defined by a sub n is equal to a times r raised to the n minus 1. Example, if the first term is 10 and the common ratio of a GP is 3, then write the first 5 terms of the GP. We're given that the first term is 10, so a sub 1 is equal to 10, and we're given that r is equal to 3. So the second term, a sub 2, will be a times r, which is equal to 10 times 3. It's equal to 30. A sub 3 is equal to a times r squared. That's equal to 10 times 3 squared. That is equal to 90. A sub 4 is equal to a times r cubed. That's equal to 10 times 3 cubed. It's equal to 270. A sub 5 is equal to a times r to the 4th power is equal to 10 times 3 to the 4th power is equal to 810. So the first 5 terms of the GP are 10, 30, 90, 270, 810. Sum of a geometric progression. The first term of a GP is denoted by a and the common ratio is denoted by r. The sum of the first n terms of the GP will be equal to s sub n is equal to a times 1 minus r raised to the n all over 1 minus r. Here r is not equal to 1 and r is less than 1. Another formula, s sub n is equal to a bracket r raised to the n minus 1 all over r minus 1. That's for when r is not equal to 1 and r is greater than 1. The next formula, sum to infinity of a geometric progression. S sub infinity is equal to a divided by 1 minus r, where absolute value of r is less than 1. Example, find the sum of the GP 10, 30, 90, 270, 810 using the formula above. Here we see that a is equal to 10, r is equal to 30 over 10, that's going to be equal to 3. And notice that 3 is greater than 1. This will determine the formula that we will use, which is going to be the second formula. N is equal to 5. So you're using the formula S sub n is equal to a bracket r raised to the n minus 1 close bracket all over r minus 1. Plugging in the terms, s sub 5 is going to be equal to 10, in bracket, 3 raised to the 5 minus 1, close bracket, over 3 minus 1. So that's going to be equal to 243 minus 1, or times 10 over 2. So that's going to be equal to 10 times 242 over 2. It's going to be equal to 5 times 242. So that's going to be equal to 1,210. So the sum of that GP up to the first 5 terms, S sub 5, is equal to 1,210. Next example. Given that the second term of a geometric series is -6 and the fifth term, and these are past paper type questions, the fifth term is 20 1/4. Find the first term and the common ratio. And part 2, find the sum of the first 8 terms of the series. Let's look at our given information. We're given that a sub 2 is equal to -6. And the fifth term, a sub 5, is equal to 20 1/4. So right here is 20.25. The second term, a times r, is equal to -6. The fifth term, a times r to the 4th power, is equal to 20.25. We divide the fifth term by the second term. We have AR4 divided by AR. That's going to be equal to 20.25 over -6. So simplifying that, r cubed is equal to -3.375. R will be equal to the cube root of -3.375. That's going to be equal to -1.5. So we found R. We want to find A. But we know that the second term is equal to -6. So AR will be equal to -6. Plugging in the value of R, which is -1.5, we have A times -1.5 is equal to -6. We divide both sides by -1.5. After having -1.5, A is equal to -6. -6 divided by -1.5. So we have A is equal to 4. So we found that A is equal to 4 and R is equal to -1.5. For the next part, part 2, we're asked to find the sum. So S sub 8, right, the sum of the first 8 terms, S sub 8 is going to be equal to A times 1 minus r raised to the n over 1 minus r, and we use that formula because our r is negative. So that's going to be equal to 4 bracket 1 minus -1.5 to the 8th power all over 1 minus -1.5. So that's going to be equal to 4 bracket 1 minus 25.62890,625 over 2.5. It's going to be equal to 4 times 24.62890,625 all over 2.5. So your S sub 8 is equal to -39.40625. Next example of a past paper type question. The 6th term of an arithmetic progression is 0 and the 16th term is 40. Find the first term and the common difference. 2, find the 20th term. And 3, find the sum of the first 10 terms. We're given that the 6th term, a sub 6, is equal to 0. And the 16th term, a sub 16, is equal to 40. The 6th term, the same as a plus 5d, set that equal to 0. The 16th term is a plus 15d, that's equal to 40. We have two equations in two variables. We can subtract a plus 15d equals 40. Subtract from that a minus 5d equals 0. So a minus a, that cancels out. 15d minus 5d leaves you 10d. 40 minus 0 gives you 40. So 10d is equal to 40. Dividing both sides by 10, we end up with d is equal to 4. So we found d, we want to find a. We can plug in d is equal to 4 into the a plus 5d equals 0. So a plus 5 times 4 is equal to 0. So a plus 20 is equal to 0. Subtracting 20 from both sides, a is equal to negative 20. So the first term is negative 20, and the common difference is 4. Next part, finding the 20th term. A sub 20 is equal to a plus 19d. We already know that a is negative 20, so we substitute it for a and d being 4. So that would be equal to negative 20 plus 19 times 4, which is equal to negative 20 plus 76. That's equal to 56. Third part, sum of the 10 terms. S sub 10 is equal to 10 over 2. Bracket 2 times negative 20 plus 10 minus 1 times 4. This one be equal to 5. Bracket negative 40 plus 9 times 4 is equal to 5. Bracket negative 40 plus 36 is going to be equal to 5 times negative 4, which is equal to negative 20. So S sub 10 is equal to negative 20. Thank you.